My Lola and I share the same room together. Although we have another room that's not occupied. It's just scary. Let's think of it this way. The room that we occupy is like a eukaryotic cell, and we resemble the membrane-bound organelles, while the room that we don't occupy is like a prokaryotic cell because it lacks membrane-bound organelles. An example of a prokaryote is a bacterial cell, infamous for causing diseases and other health problems like the Black Plague. However, they are still vital in our lives as they are part of the human microbiota. Unlike animal and plant cells which are eukaryotic, bacterial cells are less complex. Since it's a prokaryote, it lacks a mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and a true nucleus. Bacterial cells are wrapped in several layers, which in general is called the cell envelope. The outer layer or capsule provides protection from being engulfed by larger particles in the process called phagocytosis and supports bacteria in binding to certain surfaces. Having a capsule often determines whether the bacteria are virulent strains, since those without a capsule are considered to be less virulent. The cell wall, which can be found between the capsule and the plasma membrane, retains the rigid shape of a bacterium. That is why there are varying shapes of bacteria, from the round-shaped bacteria cocci, spiral-shaped bacteria spirilia, even bacteria with rod-like shape, bacilli, and some are just random in fashion, called pleomorphic. Apart from this, the cell wall also helps in protecting the bacteria. It consists of peptidoglycan that dictates whether the bacteria are gram-positive or gram-negative. If there is a thick layer of peptidoglycan above the plasma membrane, then it's gram-positive. If there is a thin layer of peptidoglycan in between the surface membrane and the plasma membrane, then it's gram-negative. The most important part of the cell envelope is the plasma membrane, serving as a guard between the border of the cell and its surroundings, regulating what molecules and ions can pass in and out of the cell. This is possible through the semi-permeable phospholipid bilayer, wherein two layers of fatty acid lipids are attached to it, facing opposite directions. In bacteria, roles such as respiration, synthesis of lipids and cell components, as well as photosynthesis, are carried out here. The cell membrane also encloses the cytoplasm, a gel-like matrix composed mostly of water, enzymes, nutrients, wastes, and gases. If it's removed, then the cell contents would disintegrate. Aside from the cytoplasm's main compositions, there are cell structures scattered on it as well, like the nucleoid, which is a region where mostly double-stranded and circular chromosomes made up of DNA are contained. These instruct the cell in synthesizing proteins. This indicates that ribosomes, the site of protein synthesis, are spread all over the cytoplasm. There are extra chromosomal structures called plasmids in the cytoplasm too, which can either be circular or linear with relatively few genes. Unlike the chromosome, plasmids are not involved in reproduction. However, the genes in them offer selective advantage to bacteria, for instance, resistance to antibiotics. Finally, bacteria have hair-like structures on their outer surface. This allows them to attach themselves to certain cells and surfaces. When they're long, they're called pili, and the shorter ones are called fimbriae. And the tail-like structure, flagella, allows the bacteria to move.